Hi everyone! In this video, we're going to talk about dynasty planning, what it is, what are dynasty trusts, and how they can help families build and pass down generational wealth in a tax-advantaged way. Let's get started. Dynasty planning leverages creating dynasty trusts to pass wealth from generation to generation without incurring in transfer taxes for as long as assets remain in the trust. Dynasty trusts can allow a family to save on estate tax while also protecting assets from a variety of situations. These structures allow for the transfer of assets to future generations free of gift, estate, and GST taxes. The main feature that distinguishes a dynasty trust from any other irrevocable trust is that it can last forever or close to depending on the state. But where exactly can you set up a dynasty trust? Dynasty trusts are almost all up in states that allow trusts to run for perpetuity. 30 states still have a law on the books called the Rule Against Perpetuities. This law says, essentially, that a trust can't run for longer than 21 years after the life of the last direct beneficiary of the grantor. As a result, people almost always set up their dynasty trust in states that allow their trust to run for forever or close to it. What are the pros and cons of dynasty trusts? The main benefit of a dynasty trust is that it is tax-advantaged, and those tax benefits can last forever. How does this work? Assets transferred to a dynasty trust may be subject to gift, estate, and GST taxes when the transfer is made if the assets exceed the federal and state exemptions of $12.92 million. Once these assets are in a trust, they are free of those same transfer taxes for future generations as they become beneficiaries, but they may owe income or gift taxes if those funds are distributed out to them. Another useful feature of dynasty trusts is that they may make distributions to beneficiaries. Indeed, a dynasty trust's trustee may distribute money from the trust to support beneficiaries. But because the beneficiaries themselves don't control when the money is distributed, they aren't considered the true owners of the assets. As a result, the assets are protected from creditor claims. These trusts last forever, and a dynasty trust is a type of irrevocable trust. The grantor has the freedom to decide how the money will be managed and distributed to beneficiaries. But once the trust is funded, neither the grantor nor any future beneficiary keeps control over the assets, and they may not amend the trust terms. It is also important to consider the complexity of setting up and maintaining a dynasty trust. If dynasty trusts exist free of transfer taxes, surely somebody has to pay tax on the assets at some point, right? Yes, in a couple of ways. First, a family will owe gift, estate, and GST taxes on the initial transfer of assets to a dynasty trust. To the extent that the transfer takes them beyond their federal and state estate tax exemption. Once the assets are in the trust, however, there will be no further transfer taxes. Second, the trust's assets will still be subject to income tax. To minimize the trust's income tax burden, dynasty trusts are typically funded with assets that don't produce taxable income, such as stocks that don't pay dividends and tax-free municipal bonds. In conclusion, a dynasty trust can be a useful strategy for families looking to build and pass down significant wealth in a tax-advantaged way, from generation to generation. If you and your family have an estate that will put you over the estate tax exemption threshold, a dynasty trust could make sense. All right, that wraps it up. I hope you enjoyed the video. Now, a quick word about Valur. We have built a platform to give everyone access to the tax planning tools of the ultra-rich like Meta founder Mark Zuckerberg and others. We make it simple and seamless to pick the best strategy, set up and administer these structures at a fraction of the cost of competitors. If you still have any questions, you can visit our website at valur.io. You can read our content on tax planning strategies. Play with our online calculator to discover your financial gains by picking different trusts or schedule a call with us.